It's time for a story time. I've not done this in a while. And my motivation was because today I fell. No, I did not hit my foot. I didn't stumble. I sat on a chair that gave way and I fell. But the story time is not about falling. Well, not really. But yes, it is actually. The story time caused me to reflect on my falls. In life, people will probably talk about how many times they have fallen in love. My story is how many times I have fallen and an ambulance came to my rescue. So, while I lay there, couldn't move because the fluid in my legs have gotten to the point where it makes it difficult for them to bend properly. And the lymphatic drainage that I would like to do doesn't get done as often as I would want to. But I started thinking about so many things as I laid there on the floor. And the first thing I thought about was that ad that used to come on the TV, LifeLock, where the lady says, "I have fallen and I cannot get up." And even though this is no laughing matter, I fell and I really couldn't get up. I couldn't help myself. My upper body lifted me to a point, but my lower body could not finish the job. And many thoughts flashed across my head at that point, and one of them was, this is what a paralytic feels like when they know they have legs, but the legs can't cooperate to do what it's supposed to do. When you know you have knees, and for the first time in your life, it dawned on you that if your knees don't bend and push you up, you can't get up. So, let me tell you a story about the falls that I've had. I remember while I was an exchange student in Spain, that would have been 1990 maybe. Yes, it was winter 1990. And this was a sponsored trip with AFS, the organization responsible for taking me to Spain. So we were to do an exchange program or a visit to Biscaya, which is in País Vasco, Izquierda, right? And by now, my host father, who is the Don in my life, was happy that I could converse enough in Spanish that it was safe for him to send me on a trip. Now, mark you, I have not really been accustomed to this highly paternal structure. So when my padre said, "Okay, I think you've learned enough Spanish now. I can trust that you'll be able to manage, so I can give you permission to go on this trip." You know me, the little egotistical Jamaican girl. And boy, Jamaicans are full of ego. I said, but Paddy not easy. I'm trying to fix this. Paddy not easy at all. Paddy is giving me permission to go on a trip sponsored, coordinated. Why did I move? And everything by the organization that brought me here. What I'm talking about? Funny, I did not realize that once I'm living in my host father's house, his decision supersedes everything else. I never understand them things there. Anyways, so Paddy said, "I like these clocks. I go to so many of these places and these clocks are on the wall. And I always seem to, without a plan, come and make a video under these clocks. I'm really trying to do this so that it fit well, but it's not working too well. But y'all know by now. We're not going to mess up the story because the video not. Oh, I should just hold on my head. Okay, good. Yes, so Paddy says, yeah, man. Obviously, he didn't say yeah, man. He said, bueno, ya puedes ir. Por lo que veo, tú hablas bastante bien ahora. Tú puedes ir a salir con los compañeros y todo. So I got my permission from my paddy. And I was off to Biscaya. Had a great time. Got to Euskeda. And I know I'm using all kind of different words. So let me break it down. Euskeda. Euskeda. Yeah. Euskeda is the name in Basco for País Vasco. If I were to give you a little bit of backdrop, there are 4 languages spoken in Spain. And each is autonomous. So where I lived in Catalonia, they speak Catalan. It's autonomous. That's the official language. Everything is written in Catalan, and they choose if they also want to write it in Spanish. In País Vasco, the language is Euskera, and that's Basque. The Spanish is Basque, and the area is called País Vasco, Basque Country. And they speak their language, which is Euskera, and they will determine whether they will use just that language or if they will also share Spanish as a second form of communication, but never the first. So Biscaya is a city, and that's a city in País Vasco where we were going to be. So we took, I don't remember what kind of transportation we took. It could have been a train, because usually that's the way we get from one place to the other. And the distances, I guess everywhere we went was 9 hours travel. So I'm almost sure it was 9 hours from Catalonia to Biscaya. And when we got there, we also had a host family. So I had a new host family for that weekend or that week. I think it was a week. So anyway, I went to Biscaya, met up with all my friends, because it was all the students who were on the program from various countries across the world who were in Spain that year. So that was like our meetup, big meetup. And I had this particular fun friend called Darius. Darius, where are you now? Darius was from Italy. He was tall and lanky, very Italian, very fun. So I had the funnest friends. So, there was Karen from Copenhagen. There was Martin from Holland. There was Rahima from Kenya. There was 2 other Jamaicans. There was Wendy, she was in Sabadell. She was with me in Catalonia. And there were some other people. And there was this girl from Japan. Oh gosh, what was her name? Don't remember her name. But anyway, my people are the ones I remember. So Darius loved being with me because he was silly. He liked music and he loved to sing. And he liked the idea that he had a Jamaican friend. Of course, I had a ball with Darius because Darius is Italian and he's crazy. So Darius and I were locked arm in arm, chatting about our time so far and things that we liked in Spain. So we got to music, and Darius said to me, I like this song. And he said, Vaya Leo. And of course, me jumping, Los amigos de mis amigos son tus amigos. Vaya Leo, which is Mecano. That was like the song at the time. And of course, we're there and we're singing, Los amigos de mis amigos son tus amigos. Vaya Leo. And we did it and we are singing, we are going. Well, it was rainy. It is always raining. Oh gosh, I really keep moving this all over the place. It was always rainy in Biscaya. It's always raining in País Basco. It's a very green, lush area. And I knew because I have a tendency to fall. Short story, when they were making me, they missed something in my knees. I missed a part. May have one missing part. And so my knees had a way of the bone separating. And when they separate, I would fall. Thus, the beginning of my mobility challenges. So I've had this from when I was a child. So I know what I have and I know how to be careful. And it's like every time I have fun, every time I stop being careful, something would happen. Yeah, this might look better, but Lord. So I was dancing and prancing, locked arm in arm with my friend Darius from Italy. And Jamaicans would I say, kukum kum. But not bone, it says not the bone them licking against each other, it's the bone them separate. The bone separated and I fell plop on the wet pavement. It was wet and morassy, green and black for those who don't understand what morassy is. You know, when the area has been wet so much that it now has this slipperiness to it. Yeah, that's what it is. So of course, bone separated and me drop. And of course, in true Spanish fashion, they called the ambulance. And so I was rushed to the hospital in País Basco. I was in pain because whenever the bone separate, they literally strain arterial ligament and it's painful and it starts to swell. You literally can see it start swelling right away. So they rushed me in an ambulance. I got into an ambulance and I was taken to the hospital. Of course, me being Jamaican, I am telling them, no, nothing wrong with me. I mean, it's just like a pain, you know, elevate the leg, put ice on it, wrap it, and take 2 painkillers. I'll be fine. But no, sir, not in the Spanish culture, not in the Spanish system. They rushed me to the hospital, put me on the ward right away. The people who were with me, they registered me. We had insurance as exchange students. And so they supplied whatever documentation. And the next thing I knew, there were some doctors coming around me. Oh Lord, I need to tell you the other part of the story about, oh gosh, there's so many I fall stories. But remind me, please, if you want to hear how I fell and became a guinea pig at the university hospital for the orthopedic department under the capable hands of Professor John Golding. But that's another time story if you ask for it. So, at that time I was 17. So my first major fall where Professor John Golding had me as his patient, I was 13. But this one happened in Spain and I was 17. So I am here laying down on my hospital bed and these doctors are coming around. And they look on the knee and them see it swelling and it's throbbing and it's warm. They feel it and they feel that it's warm. And I am now ready for the slew of questions that normally come. One of them asked me, so they done did this. I'm like, oh, I'm from Jamaica. And they go, oh, Bob Marley. And I'm like, yeah, man. And they're like, don't worry about a thing. And them not attending to the knee, you know. The next thing me know, them say, hey, Benga, come over here. There's a Jamaican in here. And friends, I tell you, a slew of doctors and nurses and whatever other orderlies came and my bedside was full of people. And there's like, Canton Bob Marley, sing a Bob Marley, sing a Bob Marley. I'm going to say, yeah, but me knee. And I'm like, no, worry about that. Sing a Bob Marley, sing a Bob Marley. And you know, say, before me get medical attention, the girl had to sing a Bob Marley. No, I don't even remember which Bob Marley I sing, because my entire year in Spain was surrounding singing Bob Marley songs. I didn't even know I knew Bob Marley. I didn't know much about Bob Marley. Bob Marley had passed, I think it was what, 1983, and this was 1989, 90. So yeah, me know same dead, and I followed the story, not being disconnected or anything. But he was dead. To me, he was dead, and let's move on. No, 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 no. Not in Europe. Mm-mm. In Europe, everything is Bob Marley. You say Jamaican, they hear Bob Marley. So before I could get the medical attention that I went in the hospital to receive, I had to sing a Bob Marley. So that was my experience in Spain. Oh, now before I end this story, oh gosh, I have about 6, 7 ambulance stories. If you all want to hear it, you have to ask for it though. But this particular time, I said to the orthopedic person, after him do all I'm squeeze up and feel up and put my foot backwards and upwards and all over the place, I said to him, I don't have anything broken. He says he's gonna put a cast on my leg. I said, but brother, I don't have nothing broken. It's just a muscle ligament thing or something. Of course, not in Spain. You don't tell them these things. So say them put one cast on my leg from upper my thigh, the joining of my thigh down to my ankle. And so if you should ever see my pictures from Biscaya, from that time in País Vasco, you would see me with a full-length cast and crutches. Can you imagine the people that give me crutches? And I had to wear it for like 6 weeks. And of course, everybody wants to sign me crutches. It's another word coming to my head, but forgive me. But where's that thing? And of course, they want to sign me scarf. No, it's not. It's cast. So that was a treat. So that was just one of my had a fall moments. It brings back pleasant memories. And it was triggered by my fall today. And I called when nobody, well, it was just my son and I who were here. And my knees are so badly gone that we couldn't get me off the floor. And all we tried, it wasn't working. And so, Mr. called the Bombardos. And I remembered somewhere I was listening to an ad, and it was children singing the 911. And I said, oh yes, it's 911 here. So so me tell my son, go off for the phone, dial 911. And he did, and they responded. And when they questioned me, I mean, they asked me some things, but we're not going there. Not bad. They're trying to get me to tell them where I was, and I'm like, listen, the place is like, she was saying Boca Chica. I'm like, no, I'm nowhere near Boca Chica. She's like, yeah, but what section you are in, and blah, 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 blah. And eventually, we were able to come to a location agreement. And she said, okay, I'm going to put you on to the medics. And I'm like, no, I don't need no medics. All I need is somebody to come and help to yank me off the floor. And she's like, ma'am, maybe not so dry, but for us to continue this call, you have fallen, the medics have to take over. So I was like, okay. So the medic took over, and he was asking us, tiene sangre, tiene lesiones, tiene... And I'm like, no, me not have no blood around nowhere. Me not broke nothing. Me not feel no pain. Me just can't get up off of the ground. You know, send help now? Before that, I'd ask my son, go out, go look and see if you can find somebody. And he's like, yeah, but what me must say, because of course his Spanish is nowhere, where it's functional. So me said to him, say socorro. And in my world, I had to go to the one ball help, but him kind of, So him go out and him say him go out and him not nobody if he say socorro too. So him come back in and try to help me. And when the ambulance people came, you know, they were looking at me, plopped out on the ground. But me not look like me in distress. Cause me not in distress. I mean, I feel better now. Cause now me not in pain. Cause now I'm no longer heaving and trying to help myself. And my poor son is trying to help me, and it not working out. And the people around me so smart. They are gonna help me off of the ground. And so the ambulance people, they're like, "You are in pain, anything?" I was like, "Trust me. Honestly, I'm not in pain. I haven't broken anything. I had a good fall." Is there any such thing as a good fall? I fell daintily. I just can't get up. Because them trying to figure out, them come with them bag, and the only thing ready for come upstairs now is the gurney. And them want to assess the situation now, because them are gonna take me out of the apartment and carry me go to hospital. I mean, not going to hospital. I tell you, this is not my first time at the rodeo. I'm not going to no hospital. I will also tell you about the fall that I had at the Fort Lauderdale airport. Listen to me. Ambulance and fire truck come and road cordon off. If you want to hear more stories about my fall, come and fall, and I will tell you the rest of my fall stories. I'll fall for you any day, baby. This is Sherry. Oh gosh, sharing my memories. Ciao for now.